Yeah, definitely. Well, my name is Abdurrahman Al Fraidan. I'm an electrical engineer currently working with SABIC, Saudi Arabian Basic Industries Corporation, based here in Saudi Arabia in the Eastern Province. My work sits on the engineering and manufacturing side of that business. Spent more than 14 years here in Saudi Arabia in the energy and petrochemical sector. So, although my role is technical rather than commercial, I work in a company that built around exporting, and you're never far from the supply chain and logistics side of things as well. Yeah, definitely. So, uh, SABIC, Saudi Basic Industries Corporation, was established in by the royal decree and started production in the early 1980s. It was created as part of the Saudi Arabian's strategy to turn its hydrocarbons resources into higher value productions instead of just exporting raw materials. The headquarter of our company is based in Riyadh, the capital, and our main manufacturing base is in two industrial cities, one called Jubail on the Arabian Gulf coast and Yanbu on the Red Sea coast. From those two hubs, we ship around the world, and SABIC is publicly listed on the Saudi exchange, Tadawul, and is one of the largest companies in the Middle East. Okay. So at its core, SABIC is diversified chemicals and petrochemicals manufacturer. We take feedstock largely from natural gas and oil derivations and convert it into chemicals, plastic, and fertilizers that other industries use to make finished product. Our business is organized into a few areas: chemicals, which is the largest; polymers, which is the plastic side; agri-nutrients, which is fertilizers; and specialties, our advanced and high performance material. So we're essentially a supplier of building block materials behind cars, packaging, electronics, constructions, health, and agriculture. Okay, so we primarily a manufacturer and exporter. The domestic Saudi market is relatively small compared with our production capacity. Total production runs into tons of millions of tons a year. So the majority of what we make is exported. That said, we also import feedstock and additives we don't produce locally, like catalysts, especially raw materials, plus a lot of plants, equipment, and spare parts for our facilities. So the honest answer is both, but with a strong export orientation. We're a producer, exporter, not trading intermediary. So SABIC has roughly around 30,000 employees worldwide. A large share of those are here in Kingdom, concentrated around Jubail and Yamba manufacturing complexes. But we also have people across the Americans, Europe, Middle East, Asia, Pacific, because we're manufacturing and sell globally. Okay. So SABIC is basically a Saudi headquartered company, but very much a global one. We have manufacturing affiliates and joint venture, regional sale offices, distribution hubs, and innovation centers on several countries. A good example is our distribution hub model for the Asian market. Singapore acts as a major hub, so we can serve customers in the region quickly. We also operate through joint venture, both inside Saudi Arabia, like Shark, one of our affiliate, Kimia, the company I'm currently working for, Petrokemia, and Yansab, and internationally as well. And of course, we have customers, suppliers, agents, and distributors all over the world. So the footprint is genuinely global. We do serve customers in more than 140 countries, so it is easier to talk about the major regions. Asia is a very large market for us. China, India, and Southeast Asia, in particular, which is part of Singapore, is such an important hub. Europe and Americans are major market too, and we have a strong presence across the Middle East and Africa. On the import side, our feedstock, the catalyst, specialty additives, and equipment come from a mixed supplier in Asia, Europe, and North America. So both our export and our import network span the major industrial regions of the world. Mm, okay. On the export side, our main products fall into few families. In polymers, we produce polyethylene and polypropylene, the everyday plastics behind packaging and consumer goods, as well as engineering plastics and high performance markets um, like polycarbonate. Mhm.
Thank you, Jackie. Um, Assalamualaikum, Mr. Abdurrahman.
Salam.
I will now ask about the company's products involved in export and import activities. For my first question, what is the main product that the company exports or imports?
Mm. Okay. So in chemicals, we make products such as ethylene and ethylene glycol, methanol, MTBE, and other glucose and oxygenated, which are the raw material for countless downstream industries. In agri-nutrients, we're a major producer of urea, ammonia, and other fertilizers. And specialties, we make advanced material for demanding applications. On the import side, it's mainly feedstock. We don't produce catalyst additives and plant equipment.
Could you explain the purpose or use of these products?
Yeah, definitely. These products are the material that our manufacturers build with. Our polymers goes into packaging, automated automotive parts, pipes for construction, medical devices, and electronics. So our chemicals like glucose and methanol are used to make everything from antifreeze and polyester fibers to paint and galvanants. And our fertilizers support food production. They help farmers improve crops yields, which matters numerously for global food security. So almost nothing we make is sold directly to consumer. Instead, our materials are an essential ingredient in products that people use every single day without realizing it.
Um, why did the company choose these specific products for the export and import?
Mm, okay. So it comes down to a natural advantage and national strategy. Saudi Arabia has an abundant, competitively priced supply of hydrocarbons feedstock, natural gas liquids, and oil derivatives, which makes us very efficient at producing petrochemicals and fertilizers at scale. SABIC was created previously to capture the advantage rather than exporting raw hydrocarbons. The country adds value by converting them into chemicals and plastic that sells at higher margins. So our product slate reflects both where we have a cost edge and where there is a strong, durable global demand. It also aligns with the Vision 2030, the national plan to diversify the economy beyond the crude oil.
Could you tell us which products contribute the most to the company's export or import business?
Hmm. Well, definitely, that will be the chemical segment is the largest business by production volume, and polymers are also a very significant contributor. Those two make up the bulk of what we export. Agri-nutrients are an important and stable contributor as well, particularly because fertilizer demand tend to hold up even when other markets are soft. The specialties business is smaller in volume, but high in value because those are engineered, high margin materials. So if you're writing this up, chemicals and polymer are the volume driver. Fertilizer adds stability and specialties add value.
Are the products exported or imported as finished good, raw materials, semi-finished goods, or service-based offering?
Mm. Well, most of what we sell sits in the intermediate and industrial input
Okay.
category. For example, our polymer resins are a finished product for us, but for the customer, they're a raw material that they melt and mold into their own finished goods.
Maybe I can continue my friend's question. So, can continue to other question?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, does the company need to follow any product standard, certification, labeling requirement, packaging requirement, or like quality requirement for international markets?
Well, yes, very much so. And this is an area close to my own work. Like selling globally means complying with each market regulations. In Europe, for instance, our product have to meet REASH chemical regulations, REASH chemical regulations, and for materials going into food packaging or medical devices, there are food contact and health and safety standard to satisfy. Electronics grade materials may need to meet ROHS standard. Across the board, we operate to International Management Standard ISO 9001 for quality, ISO 14001 for environment, and so on.
Okay, understood. So then, has the company ever modified the product maybe or the packaging or labeling or services process to meet the requirement for the market?
Yes, that's routine in this industry. We produce different grades of the same polymer tuned to the specification and regulation of different regions. Packaging is adapted to the market, bulk liquid and gas in tankers and ISO containers, solid in bulk or in big bags or smaller bagged units, depending on the customer. So labeling is adjusted for destination, language, and regulatory requirements. And for certain markets, we develop specific food, contact, or medical materials.
Okay. Now we move to the other sections, which is factors influencing import decision. So this is actually my part. Last at that time, my friend's part, but his internet connection is not good enough. So then I continue to my part. So
Sure.
for the first question, uh, what actually what the motivated the company to start exporting and importing product or services? The motivated what?
Mm. Okay. So the motivation was built into SABIC from the beginning. The Saudi domestic market on its own could never absorb the volumes we're capable of producing. We're talking about world scale plants. So the company was designed from day one to sell internationally and to turn the country's hydrocarbon wealth into value added exports. The driving logic was and still is we have a feedstock advantage, we have the scale, and the demand for this material is global. So exporting isn't a side activity, it's the core purpose of the business.
Okay. So, how does the company identify the potential international markets?
Mhm. Okay. Well, it's a combination of hard data and on the ground intelligence. We look at where demand is growing, markets that are industrializing, where construction, manufacturing, and agriculture are expanding, because that's where appetite for our materials rises. We weight logistics and proximity, the regulatory environment, and whether there are trade agreements that improve access. Our commercial and strategy teams together with regional offices and distributors gather market intelligence on each region. Regional hubs like Singapore also give us a forward base to read and serve growing Asian demand quickly.
Okay. So then, what factors does the company consider before selecting the country for export or import?
Mm. Several, and they're weighted together. First, demand is the market largest and growing. Second, the regulatory environment. How complex is it to get our product certified and cleared? Third, we have logistics cost and connectivity. How far is it? And is there good port access? Fourth, tariffs and trade agreements. Are we competitive once duties are added? And then competition in the market, political and economic stability, currency risk, and payment risk from the buyers there. For a bulk commodity business like ours, demand and delivered logistics costs tend to be the two heaviest factors. Well, apparently, it's getting
So,
late. Someone is yawning. I'm kidding.
yeah, okay. We continue a bit fast, okay? So,
Yes,
how
please.
important are factors such as market demand, regulation, or logistic costs, maybe exchange rate competition, or political stability and customer purchasing power? How important are factors to your company?
Well, all of them matters, but they don't carry equal weight, definitely. For commodity products sold in large volume, demand and logistic cost are usually decisive. If you can't deliver competitively, the sale regulations can be a gatekeeper. If you can't meet a market standard, you'll simply can't. Risk is real. Although it's softened for us because the Saudi riyal is pegged to US dollar and is in dollars. Political stability and payment to credit risk shape how cautiously we enter a market and what payment terms we insist on. Competition drives our prices and our need to differentiate. So I'd say demand and logistic first, regulations as a gate, and the rest as risk factor we actively manage.
Okay. Um, what role that government policies, incentives, or support programs play in the company's export-import decision?
A significant one. Well, Saudi Arabia Vision 2030 actively encourages value added export and economic diversification. And there is a real institutional support behind that. The Saudi XIM Bank provides export financing and credit insurance that helps de-risk sales into newer or more challenging markets. Royal cities of Jubail and Yamba run by the Royal Commission, which provides world-class infrastructure, ports, utilities, logistic zones, right next to the plants. Uh, there are also local content and investment promotions. So government policy does not just set the backdrop, provides concrete tools that make exporting easier and safer.
Okay. Then, how important are international trade agreements or free trade agreements to the company export-import operation?
It's quite important because they directly affect how competitive we are once tariffs are taken into account. Saudi Arabia is part of the GCC Customs Union and the broader Greater Arab Free Trade Area. And the GCC has trade agreements with partners such as Singapore and the EFTA states. We're also operating within the WTO framework. The agreement reduce or remove tariffs and smooth market access, which can be the deciding factor between winning and losing business in a price-sensitive commodities market. So while they're not only consideration, favorable trade terms can tip a market in our favor.
Okay. So it's quite important, right?
Yes.
Continue to the next question. How do customer preference and demand trends in foreign market affect the company export or import strategy?
Mm. They shape it constantly. The biggest trend right now is sustainability. Customers and regulators increasingly want recycled and circular economy materials and lower carbon production, which is why we have invested heavily in things like our circular polymer offerings. Regulatory shift, especially around plastic in Europe, change what customers can buy. They're all toward higher performance and specialty grades for advanced applications.
Okay. Um, Last question for the section C. Does the company conduct market research before entering a new foreign market?
Well, definitely, yes. It will be reckless not to do so, yeah. At our scale, before committing to a market, our commercial and strategy functions study the demand outlook, the regulatory and certification requirements, the competitive landscape, the logistic routes and costs, and the payment and the credit environment. We often work through local distributor or our regional offices to understand the market on the ground. For large commitments like building or partnering on a local production, the analysis is even deeper. So entering a market is researched, deliberate decision, not an opportunity or opportunistic one.
Okay. Now I will continue section D, which is with the question about international expansion strategies. So the first question is, what strategies does the company use to expand its business internationally?
We used a blend of strategies. The foundation is cost advantage scale. So producing efficiently from our feedstock based on shipping competitively. On top of that, we build a global distribution network with regional hubs so we can serve customer locally and reliably. We partner from and form joint venture both at home, like in Saudi and abroad, to get closer to demand and to share technology and risk. We also grow through acquisition historically, for example, acquiring a major engineering plastic businesses, which become the backbone of our specialty segment.
Okay. Uh, does the company use like agent, distributor, or direct exporting, like online, maybe use online platform, partnership, trade fairs, or other market entry methods?
We use essentially all of these matched to the situation. Large industry customers we serve through direct sales and key account relationships. More fragmented or smaller markets we reach through distributor networks and agents. And we use joint venture and partnership where local production or local partner makes sense. Trades, fairs, and exhibitions are important for visibility and for meeting buyers. And we have been building digital and e-commerce channels for certain products and customer segment.
Then how does the company find how does the company find and select overseas buyers, suppliers, agent, or distributors?
Mm. Well, a lot of it comes through industry networks, long-standing relationships, referrals. Regional offices play a big role because we know their local markets. And before we commit to a distributor or a significant supplier, we do due diligence, financial standing, reputation, capability, and compliance track record because we prefer long term, reliable relationships over one off deals. The selection is careful, and we're looking for partners who can represent the quality and reliability the SABIC name carries.
Then continue. How does the company build trust with international consumers, suppliers, or business partners?
Trust in this business is earned mainly through reliability. Uh, Constant product quality and on-time delivery, shipment after shipment. Customer and industries like automotive or healthcare are building our material into their own products. So depend on the spec and the supply. We back that up with technical support and with relevant joint development of solutions. Our strong safety and environmental record matters too. It signals a serious, well-run partner, and we favor long-term contracts and steadily engagement.
Okay. What role does pricing play in the company's international expansion strategies?
Mm. Well, pricing is central, especially for commodities product where customer can readily compare suppliers. Historically, our feedstock advantages gave us a strong competitive cost position, which let us compete hard on price in a global market.
Um, does the company use a digital platform like maybe website, social media, e-commerce platforms, or maybe like online business network or reach foreigner customer?
Mm. Yes, increasingly so.
Of course.
Yeah, SABIC has a broad corporate digitalization program, and part of that is improving how we engage customer digitally. So, customer portals, online ordering and e-commerce for selected product, and digital marketing through channels like LinkedIn.
Okay. Has the company participated in trade exhibition, business matching programs, or government-supported export promotion activities?
Yes, regularly. The chemicals and plastic industry has major global trade fair events focused on plastics, packaging, agriculture, and so on. And being present at those is important for visibility and for connecting with customers and partners.
How does the companies compete with other international competitors?
Mm. We compete on a few fronts. The first is scale and cost. Being a large, efficient producer integrated with a strong feedstock supply. The second is product breadth. We can offer a customer a wide range of materials from one trusted supplier. The third is reliability and global reach. So our footprint and supply chain means we can serve customer constantly almost anywhere. The fourth is innovation, particularly in specialty and sustainable materials, which let us differentiate beyond the price. As newer capacity has come on stream in Asia, that combination cost, breadth, reliability, and innovation is how we hold our position.
Okay. Okay, understood. The last question from me. So, which international expansion strategy has been the most effective for the company so?
Well, if I have to pick, I'd say the combination of cost advantaged scale plus a strong global distribution and supply network has been the most effective overall. Being able to produce competitively and deliver reliable to more than 140 countries is what underpins everything else.
Okay, I think that's all from me. Thank you so much, Mr. Abdurrahman. I'm so sorry because my question is, I think it's too much lah, you to answer my question. Because I have around 16 questions.
Oh,
So
mashallah.
I'm so sorry for that. Okay, now thank you so much, Mr. Abdurrahman. Now I will pass the session to Farah.
Mhm.
Thank
I
you
see
so
a
much, Mr. Abdurrahman.
nice background in each. Does Malaysia
Which
look
one?
as nice as it is showing here, or actually we're
Indonesia
coming?
also. Indonesia also. I'm actually
Indonesia
from
also.
Indonesia.
Oh, mashallah, mashallah. We're coming, inshallah, this July, beginning of July. Hopefully, we get to see you all. There is a conference in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. We will be coming there to present our papers,
Ah,
inshallah.
inshallah, inshallah.
بإذن الله. بإذن الله. If Allah wills. Well, well, I'm here for you guys. Like, however you want to run the show, I'm okay with it. You want to keep it going? I'm really like, feeling like, the pride and whatever you guys are doing for your assignment. So I'll try to help you guys as much as I can.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Abdurrahman.
Sure.
Okay, okay, Mr. Abdurrahman.
I will proceed with transportation modes and logistics. My first question is, what modes of transportation does the activities?
Well, as a quick answer for your question, we'll sea freight, road, rails, and air freight, depending on the countries and depending on the customer's location.
Okay. My second question is, what factors influence the company's choice of transportation mode, such as cost, speed, product type, destination, or risk?
Mhm. Well, the main driver are the type of product, the volume, the cost, and the destination, and the required delivery time. A bulk liquid chemical going to Asia is tens of thousands of tons, is obviously a sea freight, but career decisions. A small urgent shipment for a high value specialty Ryzen might justify air because many of our products are dangerous goods. The handling and safety requirements of the mod also matters a great deal. So it's a balance of cost, product, nature, like if it's explosive, it's toxic, volume, speed, and safety as well.
Okay. What logistics challenges has the company faced, such as delays, cost clearance, damaged goods, high freight costs, port congestion?
Several recurring ones. The freight costs, volatility, ocean freight rates can swing sharply, which hits the delivered cost of commodity products. Container and vessels availabilities. At times, there is simply aren't enough containers or ships or the whole world so during and after the pandemic. Port congestions, like the nature of the material, as we said, if it's dangerous goods, explosive material, road and checkpoints also consider as a risk.
Um, how does the company ensure that goods are delivered safely and on time?
A few things together: planning and forecasting. We plan shipments well ahead and use demand forecasting so we're not caught short. Regional hubs and safety stock, multiple carriers and port, proper packaging and dangerous good compliance, shipment tracking, freight forwards and shipment partners. Like it's a combination of a lot.
Then I will continue my questions with export-import documentation. My first question is, what are the main documents used in the company's export-import operations?
Well, the core set is fairly standard for international trade industry additions. For a typical export shipment, you'll see a commercial invoice, a packing list, a bill of lading for sea freight or for an airway, a certificate of origin, and a customer declarations. Because we ship chemicals, we also provide the certificate of analysis confirming the product meets the agreed specification, a safety data sheet, and for hazardous cargo, a dangerous good declaration. So, depending on the trade, there is also an insurance certificate, the document set required under a letter of credit, and any export or import permits the product or markets require.
Question is, does the company use documents such as commercial invoice, packing list, bill of lading, airway bill, certificate of origin, customs declaration, insurance certificate, or import and export permit?
Yes, All of those are applicable to each shipment. The commercial invoice and the packaging list go with essentially every consignment. The bill of lading or airway bill depends on the mode. The certificate of origin is important for the tariff and trade agreement purposes and is usually attested through the Chamber of Commerce.
Who usually prepares and checks the export-import documents?
Uh, it is a coordinated effort across functions. Our supply chain and logistic teams and customer service, trade documentation staff prepare and check uh, and coordinate the shipment. The commercial side ensure the document match the contract and the quality function issues, the certificates of analysis, and from the lab result definitely.
Question is what happen if export-import documents are incomplete, inaccurate?
Mm. Quite a lot, and it's expensive. The most immediate is the shipment being held at which delay delivery and can rack up demortgage and detention cargoes charges while cargo sits at the port. Under a letter of credit, even a small discrepancies in the documents can delay or jeopardize payment.
Okay. That's all my question. Thank you, Mr. Abdurrahman. I will pass to Jiha.
Okay, thank you, Farah. So, Assalamualaikum, Mr.
Alaikum
Abdurrahman.
salam.
So, for my part, the first question is about what are the main challenges the company face in export-import operation?
Well, there are several big ones. Feedstock cost and availability. Costs rise, margins on commodity product get squeezed. Logistic and freight volatility, shipping rates, and can swing sharply and directly affect deliver cost.
So, how do currency exchange rate fluctuation affect the company export-import business?
We're somewhat insulated, which is worth explaining clearly. So the Saudi riyal is pegged to the US dollar, and the great majority of our international trade is invoiced in US dollar. That removes a large slice of the exchange rate exposure that exporters in floating currency countries faces. That said, it does not make us immune. Customers in other currency zones feel the dollar's movement, which can affect their purchasing power and demand. And we do have some costs and receivable in other countries.
Okay, I see. And then, has the company faced issues with payment terms, late payments, or credit risk from overseas buyer or supplier?
Uh, Credit and in international trade. So it's something we actively manage rather than something that frequently goes wrong. For newer or higher risk markets and customer, we protect ourselves using instruments like letter of credit, advance payment, and export credit insurance, and so further.
And how does the company manage or language barrier even the communication issues with overseas partner?
Come again?
How does the company manage cultural difference or language barrier or communication issue with overseas partner?
Ah, a few things help a lot. We're genuinely a multinational company with workforce and regional offices spanning the Americans, Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. So we have people who understand local markets and languages, the common business language across most of our trade. Our local distributors and regional offices bridge culture gaps with customer on the ground. And we invest in a long-term relationships which build the mutual understanding that smooths the communications over time. So while culture and language are real factors in global trade, our footprint and our local presence largely naturalize them and make it like more easier for our business.
And then for the next part, for strategy to overcome the challenges, the first one is what strategy does the company use to manage custom and documentation challenge?
Mm. Uh, Come again?
So what the strategy does the company use to manage customs and documentation challenges?
Okay. The main strategy is to treat trade compliance as a professional, dedicated function rather than an afterthought. That means trained specialists who know the rules market by market, standardize the processes and checklist so documents are consistent and complete, and digitalization using the National Customs single window and our RP to cut manual errors and speed up filling. We also rely against customs brokers and freight forwards in each market. And we invest in staff training so our people stay current as regulations changes.
Okay, understood. And then how does the company reduce risk related to the currency fluctuations and payment and
Mm. We start from structural advantage. The reals, dollar pick, and dollar invoicing remove much of the currency risk. Beyond that, we use letters of credit to secure payment, export credit insurance to cover the risk of default, credit checks before extending term advance payment for higher risk customers.
okay, and then what strategy does the company use to handle logistic delays or transportation problems?
Mm. Come again?
What strategy does the company use to handle logistic delays or transportation problems?
Well, the key strategies are forward planning and demand forecasting. So shipments are arranged well ahead of need. Regional distribution hubs like Singapore holding safety stock close to customers. Multiple carriers port and routes, so we're not exposed to a single point of failure. Long-term freight agreements to lock in capacity and smooth cost, and close coordination with our shipping partners and the national chemical fleet.
Okay, I see. And then for the last question for my part is how does the company maintain product quality,
Mhm.
international customer expectations?
Mhm. Equality or technology?
Quality.
Mm. Uh, this is a core to how we operate. We run ISO certified quality management system. We issue a certificate of analysis for batches, so every shipment specs is verified, and we have laboratory testing built into production. We operate product stewardship programs to ensure products are safe and compliant through their life cycle. Conduct audits and pursue continuous improvement to tighten consistency. Coming from engineering side, I'd stress that quality control here isn't a final inspection step. It's a designed into the process because at our volumes and in our customers' applications, consistency is everything.
Okay, and I think that's all from me. Thank you very much, Mr. Rahman. I will now pass the session back to Jackie for the final question and closing.
Yeah, definitely. What about we vote on it? Let me hear one word from each. What do you think, guys? In general, just one word from each. Any. Like what comes across your head to answer the question. Only one word. Okay, trustworthy. What about the others? Is it getting difficult? Or people are falling asleep? Ooh. Okay, let's wrap it up. Well, in general, and in my opinion, I'd say reliability. In this industry, being able to deliver constant quality on time, shipment after shipment, is what separates the suppliers who last from the ones who don't. Customers are building into their own products, so they need to trust your spec and your supply absolutely. Cost competitiveness matters and strong relationships matters, but those risks of dependently, if I had to compress it into one idea, do what you say, do what you said you do every time, and the rest of the business becomes possible. Well, the most one is underestimating the logistics and documentation complexity. treating shipping and paperwork as a formality, when in fact a single error can halt a shipment, trigger costs, or block payment. Closely related is over dependence, relying on a single market, a single route, or a single big customer, which leaves you dangerously exposed when something changes. Do your homework first. Read the market and get its regulations thoroughly before committing. Know the demand, the standards, the certifications you'd need. Use trade agreements to your advantage where they exist. Secure your payment with the right instruments, letter of credit or credit insurance, rather than trusting on hope. Partner with good freight forwards and custom brokers instead of trying to learn everything yourself. Lean on government support, like for example in Saudi Arabia, bodies like Saudi EXIM Bank and the trade promotion agencies. Definitely, they do exist in other countries by different names. They will help in facilitating your studies or the choices that you have listed for yourself. Uh, yes, I'd encourage you to add a section on sustainability and future trends because it's reshaping our industry right now and it would strengthen your report. So the shift toward circular economy and lower carbon materials that push the recycled content and tightening environment regulations are changing what customers buy and how export compete. I'd also highlight digital transformation of trade, the move to electronic documentation, single window customs platforms, and data driven logistics and supply chain resilience. The lessons the world learned corruption above diversifying routes and building in buffers. Tying these to Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030 and the national push to grow value added exports would give your analysis a forward looking edge the most reports misses. Um, and definitely, I believe in Malaysia, um, there will be accessible data where you can have solid and robust figures and numbers which could support the digitalization and the formation of digitalization in exporting and importing. Yeah, definitely. It'll be my pleasure. Okay, wait a second. Alhamdulillah. Well, definitely. It's my pleasure to have you all on board and to participate in your assignment and the interview you made. Please, let's stay connected. I'll share with Zaki my LinkedIn account, and I wish you all good luck with the remaining of the semester of yours. And if God
Amin.
will, inshallah, we'll see you when I come to Malaysia.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abdurrahman.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. You're welcome. Take care. Bye bye.